Yo, what is going on, guys? TymeStopper here, coming back at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, in this video, we are talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Samar Gemcursed versus Bommal the Dreadhorn. You know, we're in the Bommal rotation right now, and I wanted to kind of get an updated guide out there for everyone, because every time this rotation shows up, I do get questions about Samar and how we solo with him and what all you need to do and everything like that. So I figured it's probably about time we put out an updated guide, because there is some ways that we can speed the runs up now that we didn't have back when this strategy first came out. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. Okay, guys, so first and foremost, we're going to go over here. We are in the Bommal rotation here, and this is a solo strategy. There's a couple different champions that you can use to solo Bommal, but Samar seems to be the best one out there. So if you have a Samar Gemcursed, this is easily going to be the best way to do this dungeon, because it can actually be done pretty fast, and you don't have to use up a bunch of your other champions. You know, there are faster ways to beat the Dreadhorn out there, but truth be told, when you use them, you're usually using entire teams, and a lot of times you have to gear them specifically for this. So then you're taking up gear, and you're taking up a bunch of other stuff from, you know, places where it could be better put to use. So I've always stuck with the Samar Gemcursed route, and he actually does it pretty quickly right now. Most of my runs since we've done this have actually gone to about, well, they used to be around 8 minutes or so, and it's actually down to about 3 minutes and 15 seconds-ish for most of the runs, which really isn't too bad when you think about it for a solo strategy or anything like that in probably what is one of the hardest, you know, Doom Tower stages that I think most people struggle with. Now, we are doing this on 90 hard right now, and by all means, I mean, he will work for the lower levels at this speed and these stats and things like that, so obviously you can do it there. On the lower ones, you're going to struggle a little bit with him getting kills if you have a DPS champion in your team like I do right now, because the DPS champion is probably going to take over and do all of the kills, and that's going to kind of hurt you in the long run. So you may struggle a little bit there, but certainly not on 90 hard. We're just trying to blaze through it as fast as we can. So basically, the strategy is that we got to get him going super duper fast. So we do that a couple different ways. So you can see that I brought an entire team in with me. They are all dead, because we're going to use the Mastery Spirit Haste, I believe is what it's called, where you get extra speed, 6 speed for each dead ally. So we can get an additional 24 speed because our champions that we took in there with them are dead. And basically, I took in 3 champions that are completely stripped down. We'll go back and take a look at it, but they literally have no gear at all. And then I just have 1 champion coming in with him to help kind of get through the waves. The other way we're going to get some speed is we're going to take the offensive mastery, where we get additional speed for each enemy that we kill along the way. So ideally, you will want him to kill 3 enemies in the first 2 waves in order to get that extra 18 speed, so that you can get all the maximum speed. What this is going to do is it's going to make it so that you don't have to put as much strain on your gear. Now, if you don't take these masteries, or you don't use all the stuff that I use, you're just going to need to bump up the speed. But what I found was it was really hard to get to the speeds that I needed to get to, along with the gear and stuff like that, at an earlier stage. Now, as I've gone on, obviously, that is not the case. The other thing that I want to talk about here, and one of the reasons that this goes so much faster now, is you can see as Samar is going up there and hitting him, Samar is not doing a lot of damage on his own. He's doing about 24,000 when you count in the War Master hits, but what's doing the bulk of the damage is the blessing. So we have Brimstone on him, just a 1-star blessing. It doesn't have to be crazy. You can wait for it to show up in the shop and buy it for 20. So we stick that on there, and it's going to proc a lot. I mean, you can see how often it's landing on him. Granted, Samar is pretty fast, so he's putting it up pretty often, even at 1-star. But when it hits the Dreadhorn, it's doing around 200,000 damage each time. So it's basically saving me 9-10 hits. There we go, 209,000 that time on him. So it's basically saving me a ton of time in the long run that normally, if you didn't have that blessing, it would take. Now, of course, if you don't have the blessing or you can't get it, no big deal. This will work just fine without the blessing. It is not a requirement, but it is going to make this run much, much faster. So as you can see there, we did it 3:28, my best time this rotation, 3:12. I don't really farm this, so, you know, I guess it might be able to get faster if I did it enough times. But real simple setup on this, guys. There's not much to it. So when we first go in here, let's first talk about the team setup. So as you can see, I have a full team with me. I have an Ethos in here. He's there just literally to knock down waves to make it a little bit quicker, kill some of the enemies and whatnot. I have Gwyneth in here. Now, I do realize that she is a Doom Tower champion that's a little bit further in. You don't need Gwyneth. I only used her as my lead because of her aura, and it's someone that I don't want to use, right? So there's a lot of other champions that you can use for this, ones that even have faster auras that will lower Samar's speed requirements, right? So you could use a Lady Kimmy as an aura if you have her. You can use Lysandra. You can use a Ursula the Mourner, all of which have fast auras. Gwyneth, ironically enough, just happens to have a speed in Doom Tower battles by 25%, and I don't have anywhere else to use her. So that automatically is going to lower the requirements that I need for Samar to do this. If I didn't have someone with 24 speed and it was 19 speed, I would literally just have to make up the difference. So right now I have him at the least speed you can possibly have if you have a 24 speed aura on there. So when we go out and do the calculations. And then these are just 2 food champions I have in here with him. Now, I don't use food champions. These are just some champions that I have in my faction guardians. That way I don't have to keep swapping them out or anything like that. So I just threw them in there. Of course, they have no gear on them or anything like that. Now, we do need to do a team setup on this because when we get to the third wave where we're actually on the Dreadhorn, everyone else is going to be dead. But on that third wave, we want to make sure that we lock out Samar's A2 and his A3 skill. We're only going to have him doing his A1. Now, as you can see here, my Samar is completely unbooked with this as well. So if you wanted to try to get some more damage out of him, you might be able to because he does get some damage from books here. But I don't know that it's really worth it because you could end up getting super unlucky and having to book out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 legendary books potentially to get that 25% damage. I don't know that it's really worth it. You're probably better off just waiting for a blessing to come around and getting Brimstone on him than anything else. So let's go out and take a look at how we have him built real quick. Super easy build. We're going to put him in regen and immortal gear. I don't really recommend you try to do it in 3 immortal sets. I tried it earlier on. It was very difficult, and it's just been my experience. You're probably better off just going with a regen and immortal set, but it doesn't take tons and tons of stats or anything like that to get him there. So as you can see here, we have him in regen and immortal. Nothing too crazy. Most of it is like epic or rare gear. I have a legendary pair of gloves here, but they're only 5 stars, so nothing too crazy. So total stats, we do have him at 263 speed. Again, this is the minimum speed you're going to want to have him at if you have a 24% speed aura. Now, it can be an all battles aura or a Doom Tower aura, but if you're going with a 19 speed aura, you're going to have to make him faster because this will not get there. Like, this is literally the minimum speed you can do with a 24 speed aura. So keep that in mind if you're going with a lower aura. Nothing else matters here. We don't need any crit rate, crit damage, resistance, accuracy. We just need to make him tanky because of the way he heals himself throughout the battle. So I have him on 89,000 HP right now and 3,000 defense. I can tell you that earlier on, you don't need these. I was able to do this with under 80,000 HP and under, I want to say like 2,500 defense at one point, but my champion's just gotten stronger from better gear and stuff like that over time. So you don't need that high of stats. Again, you're just looking for like I went with deep defense on my banner. As you can see, we do have speed on that. And then all this is just going to be HP and defense stuff. So again, nothing too crazy or anything like that, but pretty simple setup, honestly, to get him to go in there. The masteries on him, again, we're looking here, how can we do extra damage and how can we heal? So we went down the support tree. We got the 810 HP. Now, we did take the value of heals on this champion. So we took the lay on hands and we took Healing Savior. So one thing most people don't realize is that these blessings, these masteries work with gear sets. It does not have to be something that the champion does. So because we have him in Regen and Immortal, we are going to be gaining additional HP by having these blessings on there. And then, of course, we just come down to Spirit Haste so we can get that 24 extra speed. Over here on the offense tree, we went with Grim Resolve because he is going to be low HP most of the time. We picked up the Life Drinker for extra HP just in case. Here's where we have that Whirlwind of Death where you get the extra 6 speed for each enemy killed. And then I literally just went down to War Master over here on the side, as you can see, just for those War Master procs to pick everything else up. Basically, that's what his masteries are going to look like. And then, let's see. So again, we have no books into him, as you can see, and we already went through the artifacts, but that's about it, guys. There's really not much to this strategy. It's all based off of his skills because of his passive here, where he places the block damage buff on himself for on each turn. So that's really what's going to keep him alive. And then on his A1, he heals by 15% of the damage inflicted if he has 50% HP or less. And he fills his turn meter if he has more than that. So that's really what's keeping this strategy going for you. Super simple to do, not very difficult. The stats aren't crazy that you need. They are a little difficult if you're super early game, but keep in mind that you can use him to get through normal Doom Tower. Like if you're early game and you have him, you can get through normal Doom Tower with him at lower stats. You can get through the bottom parts of Doom Tower with him at lower stats. So unless you are pushing to 90, don't feel like you need those stats. But that's about it, guys. I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, if you do have any questions about the build or anything like that, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. I'll try to reply to all the comments that I can if you have questions or whatnot. But I do want to thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. If you did like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And of course, as always, until next time, be good.